that I'm going to talk about. I want to say to you, parenting is the highest calling that you can ever have.
Amen. So true.
The first parent was God himself.
Amen.
God was a father and a mother. One day, my daughter asked me, "Mommy, when Adam and Eve were created, were they babies?" I said, "No, I don't think they were babies, you know." He said, "So how old were they? Were they teenagers? But were they 0 years old?" So it made me to start thinking. And then he said, "Who is Adam and Eve's mom?" I said, "They don't have a mom." And she started crying. I said, why are you crying?" And she said, "They had nobody to give them cuddles and tuck them in bed." So you see, God himself was a parent. And this is the type of job that we all do without training. If you want to be an engineer, you are trained. If you want to be a doctor, you are trained. But parent, voila, you just find yourself parenting. So I'm going to talk about functioning parenting or effective parenting. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about 3 types of parenting that we have. People find themselves adopting one of these styles, probably because they themselves have been parented that way, or because there are issues in their lives that make them adopt that kind of parenting. The first one is authoritarian parenting. An authoritarian parent demands obedience, blind obedience. If you ask why, as a child, you are told, "Because I said so." That's an authoritarian parent. They don't allow communication. If you want to find out things, you are told you are back talking. You are not allowed. The parents, they emphasize on discipline. It's all discipline. There are no boundaries. You don't know what you are expected to do. But if you fail to do what they want, they will discipline you very hard. That's the first type of parenting. They are concerned about marking status distinctions. Let's go to the next type of parenting. And then on the other hand, before I go to that one, these people, they normally justify this type of parenting. They will say to you, they want to toughen their children. They want to make them strong. They want to, but it's just an excuse. So we go to the extreme end. We have got a permissive parent. These, they have got few rules, few boundaries. The children are like the parents themselves. They dictate what is happening in that house. These parents are indulgent. They don't like to say no to their children because they don't want to disappoint their children. There will be, I remember I've got a friend who is like, whatever the child does, they'll be like, "No, darling, no." And the child can scream at the top of their voice, and the parent is like, "Oh, don't do that." And so to them, they are loving that child. So we have come, they don't want to be authoritarian, but now they have gone to the extreme end. And coming to the third one, we have got a neglectful parent. This one is worse than the permissive parent because they don't even have boundaries at all. They don't have any standards. They are indifferent to their children's needs, and they are uninvolved in their children's lives. Usually, we find this from people who have got mental health issues. Yesterday we were talking about mental health. So these people, these parents, they have got a lot on their plates. They have forgotten they've got children. Now they are concentrating on themselves. So they don't care what the child does, what the child wears. When the children go to school, whether they have eaten or not, they can just say, "Grab a banana." If there's a banana in the house, there's no time to cook for them or anything. This is a neglectful parent. Now I come to the one that I'm going to concentrate on. This is an authoritative parent. These are the parents who set rules. They enforce boundaries by having open discussions. They provide their children with reasoning and explanation for their actions. So if they are saying to the children, don't do this, they will explain why. So the children will understand. Whereas for the other parents, they are making it up as they go. You do this, you are punished harshly, but you don't know why you shouldn't do it. The authoritative parents are affectionate and supportive. They do three things that our Gio spoke about yesterday. They nurture, they empower, and they affirm their children. So I'm going to talk about those three things. How we can be authoritarian parents who can nurture, authoritative parents who can nurture, who can empower, and who can affirm our children. So what is to nurture? To nurture is to provide a conducive and stimulating environment for our children to thrive and develop in all aspects of their lives. I've divided the way we can nurture our children into 4 realms. The first realm is, which I think most parents think that's what they are only supposed to do. The first realm is what I call the physical realm of nurturing. This is easy because it's about the things that we do physically, that we see. Things like providing shelter, providing food to eat, clothes to wear, and obvious necessities. This is what most parents think that their duty is. They think their duty is to just provide those things. This is only one aspect. We need to provide those things for our children. But in providing for those things, they should be balanced. We don't have to go to the extreme. We don't have to become indulgent parents. You know, sometimes overindulgence will lead to destructive, and it will lead us to spoiling our children. So we don't have to overdo things. I've seen where we are in the UK, there are certain parents who can buy loads of toys, and especially for Christmas, children will have a list, an endless list of the things that they want, because the parents, they think that's how to love them. And they will have 25 toys, 30 toys. At the end of the day, they will only play with 1 or 2 toys. And they will end up being children who can't appreciate things because they are being overindulged. And on the other hand, giving too little attention is also not a good thing. So they have to be balanced. So sometimes if you don't give enough to your children, that's neglect, that's abuse. And it can lead to mental health issues like we discussed yesterday. So you have to have a balance there. And we look at God. God provided for Adam and Eve because he was the parent. He gave them a place to live, gave them food to eat, he gave them everything, a safe environment. It's up to us to provide a safe environment for our children. Make sure when they're in winter, they have got warm clothes, they have got everything that they need. They go to school warm, feeling loved. The second one is mental and intellectual realm of nurturing. This fits in with what we were learning yesterday. And I can say most parents, they neglect this one. They concentrate on the physical one, and they forget that they should show interest in the emotional and mental development and intellectual development of their children. Be involved in what your children are learning in school. Ask them, what are you learning? Some parents, they have no interest. when the teachers give homework, they will actually say, these teachers, they want me to do their jobs. They are being paid for this. I'm not going to do it. And they won't do it. So it's your duty to provide that intellectual nurturing aspect for your children and the mental aspect as well. Find out how they are doing. Are they okay in school? Are they playing well with their children? Because it will help you understand the problems that they are facing. Even outside with the friends that they play with, outside, ask, how are they doing? Are they happy? Find out. Don't just provide food, shelter, and things like that. The third one is emotional and psychological realm of nurturing. This one, it involves how we speak to our children. Sometimes when we speak to our children, it's not only about words that we say, it's more than words. It's how we even speak by our body languages. We should learn to speak good words to our children. Paul yesterday gave an example. Paul was speaking to, what's the name of the gentleman over there? Is it Andrew? Andrew. Paul was speaking to Andrew, and we could see from the way he spoke to Andrew that Andrew was really, if it was meant to help Andrew, it actually destroyed Andrew instead of helping. So sometimes, because we feel we are parents, we say some words that can actually destroy our children instead of helping them in the name of being a parent. So let's be mindful of how we speak to our children, because it can affect them emotionally and it can lead to mental health issues. Yeah? So when the children has done something wrong, like Adam and Eve, they did something wrong, God did not start saying, Adam, Eve, where are you? You will see me today. You see, like you see, and God just told Adam, where are you? And Eve. So whether this thing that Adam and Eve did was really bad. They just broke God's rule. They had a rule, but in some cases, the children, they don't even have those rules or boundaries, and they don't even know they have broken anything. And there we are, being so harsh to them. So we need to think about how we speak to our children, because sometimes we can't take our words off. Moving on to the fourth realm of nurturing, which is the spiritual realm. I've seen that as Christians, we rarely say anything to our children about spiritual matters. We leave that to the Sunday school teacher, who doesn't even know what they are doing. I've realized that when we were growing up, we knew most of the Bible stories. We could tell you about David and Goliath. We could talk about Lazarus and stuff like that. Our children don't know, and the parents are detached from that aspect because they are leaving that to the Sunday school teacher. It's our duty to nurture our children spiritually. You need to help them know the principles of God, the things that we are learning today. Can you imagine if we had been taught them from a very young age? We were talking about mental health yesterday, and we discovered that even children can find themselves worrying. But if you then start telling them that to trust in God, to depend on God, to tell them that God loves them, that will help them. So it's our responsibility. Our responsibility is not just to provide food, shelter, clothes, is to do this as well. Teach them, pray together with them. I remember one night Danielle was feeling really scared. my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, because somebody in school has been talking about very scary movie that they had watched, and poor Danielle couldn't sleep. So what I did was I tried to speak to her, comfort her. It didn't work. And then I said to her, okay, let's pray together. What would you like God to do? And we held hands, we prayed. Guess what? She slept. So this is part of what we should do. Instead of shouting to our children when they are scared, when they are worried, and they are scared, sometimes they are scared of the dark, and you're like, has the dark ever eaten anyone? Who has been eaten by the dark? You see, the way we speak to their children. Instead of comforting them, understanding their fears, their worries, to help them, to nurture them in that. So, the second thing, I said I'll speak about 3 things. First, nurturing. I've spoken about nurturing in 4 ways. The second one is empower your child. You give your child choice. You don't force your children. You should do this, you should do this, you should. Try to learn to give your children choice. Even with God, God gave Adam choice, Adam and Eve. He didn't say, I'm not going to create this tree in case they eat of it. He gave them choice. You eat all of the trees, but this one don't. Give your children choice. Even for clothes, give them, when you are going to buy clothes, tell them, this is the budget, choose what you want. You can't, I grew up in a setting whereby your parents will choose everything for you, whether you like it or not. That's what you are having.
Yes.
So we are different now. We are being taught to be different people. So let's give our children choices. Let's listen to our children. Not only listen to your child's voice. Listen to what is not being said as well. Listen, if they are, you can tell she's not the way she's usually, and listen, not their moods. If there are any mood changes, sit down with them and have a dialogue, discuss. Ask them what is happening in school. Be interested in their well-being. And the other one, allow your child to take risks. I wasn't good with this when I was a new mother. Anything I would be thinking, oh, it's going to hurt him. Don't go there. Don't climb that. Don't do this. Don't. Really? We need to allow our children to take risks. I've seen it in the UK. Sometimes when I first went there, I was thinking, this is ridiculous. They will allow their children to jump in muddy puddles, to climb things, to do stuff, to roll in snow, and I will be like, stop, don't do that. So this is the kind, you limit your child. You limit the development of your child by being overprotective. Allow them to climb those trees. Allow them to get dirty. Don't say when they are wearing this dress, they can't sit there, they can't do this. Wow. Risking on purpose is important for your child's development of self-confidence. So let's think about that. We never hear of God saying to Adam and Eve, apart from the one rule that he gave them. He didn't say to them, don't jump across that, don't climb trees. Maybe Adam and